My name is Michael Gearing. I'm Vice President of Environmental Affairs, and on behalf of the Long Island Power Authority and our partners who realized this great accomplishment with the solar farm behind me, Brookhaven National Lab, the Department of Energy, and BP Solar, I want to thank you all for coming out on this very historic day here on Long Island. While each and every one of you are important in your own right, there are just a few dignitaries you're going to hear from today, and I would just like to acknowledge some of those who you won't hear from. But I know we have Assemblyman Fred Thiel, Assemblyman Mike Fitzpatrick, my Assemblyman. We have Mark Woolley, who represents the Minority Leader in the Assembly. And I'm very pleased that we have one of our trustees, a trustee who I'm very close to. He oversees our Committee on Environment and Efficiency, Chris Damianos. So thank you for being here today, Chris. And you will hear from a few others in a few moments. This is an historic day for Long Island, and we should not lose sight of that. Thomas Edison, I'd like to paraphrase for a second, when fueling our homes, we should be using nature's inexhaustible sources of energy. The sun, the wind, the tide. I'd put my money on the sun and solar energy. What a source of power. I hope we don't have to wait until oil and coal run out before we tackle that. Well, the wait is no longer. And as we're here today to commission the solar farm, I think you will agree that this solar farm is truly an awesome site. And I don't use awesome very often. It's not a word is in my vernacular. The Long Island Solar Farm does not just address our energy issues here on Long Island, but offers a multi-pronged approach to advancing our region's energy, environmental, and economic future. This incredible accomplishment underscores the type of transformational projects that are paramount to keeping Long Island at the forefront of these all-important endeavors, and distinguishing ourselves as national leaders in creating not just our energy independence, but a green economy that will continue to create new jobs and retain our current workforce and future workforces right here on Long Island. This project wouldn't happen without a number of folks, including, and I want to recognize right up front, the staffs of LIPA, Brookhaven National Lab, and DOE. Without their technical, legal expertise, it was an invaluable component to getting us here today. The first speaker I'd like to introduce is my boss, our Chief Operating Officer, Mike Hervey, whose leadership, knowledge, support, and direction as we went through the development and construction was invaluable and got us here today. So, Mike, I'd like to invite you up here. And be careful, it's a little rocky up here.
Well, thank you. It certainly is a pleasure to be here today to see this power plant in operation. Walk up to a power plant here, you can't hear it run, you can't see the output from it, but somewhere out there there's a meter that says it's got output. I've been out here several times during the construction of this. It's good to see this site the way it is, because will be coming back as more natural in its state. I don't know if you saw some of the special attributes of the fence that allows the animals to get in and out under it. From an environmental standpoint, this is just the way to go. But I certainly want to take a moment to thank the many, many people, over 200 people, who were part of the construction of this power plant. Certainly our primary contractor here, Hawkeye, but the men and women of Local 25 and Local 1049, IBEW, to over 200 jobs out here. We had trades all the way through dock workers to carpenters working on this project for many, many months. And obviously they did an awesome job. I'd also like to just mention, how historic this is. Long Island has often been in the forefront of technology, whether it's the Vanderbilt Motor Parkway or whether it was the first Lindbergh flight across the ocean or the first delivery of airmail or the lunar program and the aeronautical programs that came out of Long Island, all across the board, or the Tesla experiments that ultimately led to Marconi installation of radio. Right here we have a power plant that's among the largest in the U.S. solar power plant, and it's just phenomenal. So 32 megawatts of power coming from this power plant, even on a day like today. It doesn't care about the temperature. It just likes the sunshine. I really expect that this power plant will be in the long run, will be an example that will be followed by many other areas. It'll be an example to be emulated. We have this power plant here along with the solar carports that have been going on and installation throughout Suffolk County. We're really adding just under 50 megawatts of solar power between these two projects to Long Island. And this helps to go towards Long Island's portion of renewables statewide. So I'm very proud to be here today. This power plant is the way of the future, is the way to go. And I can't be prouder of Long Island and Long Islanders that we've been able to accomplish this. I thank you very much.
It is a public-private partnership, and our private partners in this was BP Solar. And when LIPA went out with the procurement, we were looking for a highly qualified and skilled company that had the financial wherewithal to be able to develop this project and bring it to fruition, operate it, and maintain it. And we have been very lucky and very fortunate to have BP Solar. And with us today is Mike Petrucci, the Chief Executive Officer of BP. So, thank you.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you all. It's wonderful to see such a distinguished group of people gathered here today to celebrate this large energy plant here in Long Island. I'm very pleased to be here today celebrating the completion of the project, which is important on a number of levels. This is the largest operating solar installation on the East Coast that resulted in a unique partnership that will provide clean energy to thousands of homes in Long Island and help the U.S. solar industry learn and achieve technology advances that will ensure its long-term success. All the energy produced here is feeding directly into the LIPA grid array, power grid, as we speak, and will be for many years to come. And as the power flows, the researchers at Brookhaven National Laboratory will have an opportunity to collect performance data that, along with the separate scientific research arrays funded by BP and our partner MetLife, will allow the U.S. Department of Energy and the U.S. solar industry to study weather impacts on a large-scale solar facility and test new techniques in an effort to advance solar energy as a mainstream energy source. This is a unique facility and one that Long Island can be proud of. This is BP's largest project in the U.S. and has not come without many challenges. I am proud of the team that have brought this project along with from the conception to the commissioning on schedule despite the worst Mother Nature could throw at them, such as a record snowfall earlier in this year in January-February timeframe and the hurricanes that we've all experienced. I'd like to thank Richard Chandler, our project developer, who saw us through the entire development process, along with Hank Zaretti, our project manager, Derek Atade, our project delivery manager, and the team of construction, safety, and engineering experts for a job well done. We had many contract partners who provided their expertise to get us to this day. Hawkeye, our general contractor, worked with us to transform hundreds of drawings into this amazing field of BP solar panels, transforming the sun's rays into megawatts of clean energy for Long Island. It is important to us to work with a local team, and Hawkeye proved that they were the right team for the job. I'd like to thank Jim Kennedy, Don Rassinger, and their new president, Rich Wire. Thank you. I'd also like to recognize Blue Oak Energy, who has been a partner to BP for many projects we've done here in the U.S., and they've provided the design services. Blue Oak is represented by Mark Brill here today. Thanks to Mark and the rest of the team. The local communities played a critical role in making this project a success, and in turn, the project was made a positive economic impact in the area. In addition to the major contractors, we utilized the services of a wide range of area vendors, feeding millions of dollars into the local small businesses. And of course, the facility was built entirely by local workers. At its peak, thank you. At its peak, as it was mentioned earlier, we've employed more than 200 craftspeople from the local union halls during the nearly 12-month of construction period. Long Island can be proud of its men and women who helped transform this space into the largest solar energy installation in eastern United States, maybe even east of the Mississippi. Together, we are making Long Island a better place to live and to do business. And thanks to everyone.
Just going to try not to trip as I come up and down here. The fourth partner in this project, who doesn't get as much mention as they should, is the Department of Energy. Mike Holland, who's the manager of the DOE site office here at Brookhaven National Lab, has been invaluable in terms of working his bureaucracy to get the easements that were necessary to be able to put this array here. And that was one of the things that we had heard early on is you're going to get, the federal government's going to give you an easement to put this on here. And Mike Holland and his colleagues down in Washington helped us make that happen. And I do want to thank you for your dedication and commitment. So with that, Mike Holland.
Well, good morning. It's a pleasure for me to add my welcome to all of you here today at the Long Island Solar Farm at Brookhaven National Laboratory. Mr. Thomas D'Agostino, the Undersecretary for the Department of Energy for Nuclear Safety, was scheduled to be here today, and he sends his regrets that he could not make it. Ms. Cynthia Anderson is in the audience. Cynthia is the manager of the Department of Energy's Asset Revitalization Initiative, and she is representing Tom today. Innovative technologies rarely, if ever, spring on the scene fully developed and capable of delivering on their promise of capability and efficiency. New technologies take time to mature through dedicated efforts of many people with dedicated intellectual and capital resources. New technologies need to be tried, tested, learned from, and improved upon, and all of that takes commitment, often on the part of many people and organizations. And that's just the case here for the Long Island Solar Farm. Long Island Power Authority saw the need for solar energy generation on Long Island and initiated the effort to build the Long Island Solar Farm. BP Solar committed the technology. Brookhaven Science Associates, the department's managing contractor for Brookhaven National Laboratory, and the Department of Energy's Brookhaven site office saw the value of siting the Long Island Solar Farm at Brookhaven National Laboratory in terms of the energy research that could be done, and we managed to devise a way to make the federal land available while ensuring a research agenda for the laboratory. Hawkeye, as a general contractor, provided the construction expertise to build Long Island Solar Farm. Collaborations between federal and state agencies and the private sector are a very effective means for bringing large-scale technology projects, such as the Long Island Solar Farm, to life. Brookhaven National Laboratory's mission is all about scientific collaboration, so the Long Island Solar Farm fits very well into that mission for the laboratory. It also aligns very well with the Department of Energy's goals for national energy security and clean energy development. The Department of Energy is pleased to have been able to provide the land here at Brookhaven National Laboratory for the Long Island Solar Farm to test the technology and to learn from it and to help develop solar energy's potential. And the department recognizes the efforts of every organization and every individual that was involved in making the Long Island Solar Farm a reality. Thank you.
All right, so right now you're probably asking the question, how many mics does it take to build a solar farm? Okay. We're going to change that up a little bit now. I like that. Brookhaven National Lab, obviously, is a tremendous resource for us here on Long Island. Really an unknown resource for us here on Long Island, one that we should all be very proud of. And Dune Gibbs, who's Deputy Director for Science and Technology, and his team understood the importance of expanding their research opportunities into this area to look at renewables, to look at solar power, and expand their opportunities for their scientists and their capabilities. So with that, Dune, thank you.
Whoa. Thank you very much, and good morning, everybody. This is a really exciting day for Brookhaven National Laboratory, as well as for the Department of Energy and our partners at LIPA, MetLife, and BP Solar. As of today, or a few weeks ago, we've flipped the switch on a 32-megawatt power solar array, and we've begun supplying clean, renewable energy to thousands of homes and businesses on Long Island. It's a really cool accomplishment. It's a special pleasure, in addition, to share this moment with our local, federal, state officials, as well as with a number of important people in the community, and to share with us in taking this enormous, bold step forward. Let me just say one thing, which is, I'm pleased to be able to be the first one to say this, which should be really clear to everybody. New York State and Long Island are national and world leaders in energy science and technology, and especially in green energy. This facility proves that, if it wasn't already clear before. We are really proud to be a part of this. It's a big array. There are 160,000 or more panels out there, if you look at them. And that should already give you some sense of how big of a milestone this is for the state and for Long Island. Our particular angle, but there's another angle which I think is unique and which is important. That's the part that Brookhaven brings. In the broadest terms, Brookhaven's intent, its purpose, is to change the world, nothing less than that, to make the world a better place to live. The way we do that is by bringing to bear our science and our technology, our world-class staff, to bear on national problems. So part of our motivation in participating in this, and our partners were extremely helpful in making this happen, is the chance to do research, as was already mentioned, live on a power array, as well as carry out research on a test array. So among the kinds of experiments we're going to do here will be to monitor the incident light in 1 megawatt units roughly, to compare that to the current that comes out the other side, to sum all of that up at the end of the array and look at the impact on the grid. So we'll be able to figure out at a much finer scale than's ever been done before how a solar array actually works. And the thing that's particularly interesting is we'll be able to look at that in real time with a few time-second intervals. And for example, see what happens when a cloud passes over. Clouds don't often pass over the big power arrays in Arizona or Utah or California, but this is quite a different environment, and we'll be able, we hope, to understand the response of the solar array in real time and the impact on the grid to weather in the Northeast. That's a unique opportunity for us, and it will enable us to optimize how the power array works, and also the energy equation generally looking ahead. That's part of our interest, and we're really motivated to follow through on that. The other part of our research is going to be involved in a smaller test array, just a megawatt, which will be on site. That is going to be offered, we plan, as a user facility so that companies and scientists from companies, scientists from universities, whole companies, national labs can come in and test their components, say their battery components, their game-changing energy storage components on a utility scale array. That also is an important and unique step that we're taking here. So we're absolutely delighted to be part of this. It fits in perfectly with our overall mission, with the mission of the Department of Energy. And thank you all for coming, and thank you all for being part of this.
Now, one part of the research that's not happening today is there's no cloud cover, so we don't have to worry about that. The next speaker, I've had the privilege to meet over 20 years ago and to work on legislation, actually, that was designed to protect this 100,000 acres around us at Brookhaven National Lab in the Pine Barrens and to accommodate development. And proving that those two things can be complementary. I think today's project is a testament to both the wisdom of that law and proof that it's working as it was designed. It's my honor to introduce Senator LaValle, who's been a great asset for Long Island and a champion of both of the academic world, the scientific world, and the economic world.
Thank you, Mike. Dune, it was great. You broke the chain of the mics. Today is wow. You stand out there and you look as far as you can see, and it is solar panels. Long Island, and someone started at the edge of Mike Hervey, actually talked about Long Island being visionary, the things that we have done and given to the world. We, as Long Islanders, we are risk takers, but we also have something that I think is one of the great resources. It's called intellectual resource. So when you put vision, risk-taking, and the intellect to make things happen, that's what we are as Long Islanders. This, in terms of making a speech, has all the ingredients that political people, governmental officials like. Green energy, the future. That is something that we talk about. Public-private partnerships. Again, that's what we need. We have great resources here in B&L, Stony Brook University, and they are working on things that will dovetail into this and things that you will be reading about in the very near future. I want to hold your heart, Mike, compliment LIPA for being involved in this venture. And again, it's risk-taking. It's risk-taking. So when we put the whole thing together, it's we are moving where we need to move, and that is the future. And the future is this kind of energy. And what we did here, and it brought, Mike Hervey and I were talking, and he was telling me how they accommodated the wildlife here so that they can continue to live in their habitat, in their own habitat, and how we are replacing the land in the Pine Barrens in other areas so that we can continue to have the best of all the worlds, have this kind of energy and also maintain the kind of natural setting that Long Island, Eastern Long Islanders have become used to. So congratulations to one and all.
Our next speaker is in the business community, but really is a very good friend and a public servant in the true sense of the word. Kevin was president of the Long Island Association, and he's the co-chair of Governor Cuomo's Long Island Regional Economic Development Council. And for as long as I've known Kevin, he understands the synergies between the environment and the economy. And when he was at LIPA, he had this idea for bringing these two disciplines together in an ever-expanding infrastructure of solar throughout the island, on roofs, parking lots, and here today at the solar farm. So welcome. Come on up.
Thank you, Mike. Good morning, folks. Very nice to be invited back here. I'm looking out, it's like a solar heaven. I feel like Kevin Costner in a field of solar dreams out here. And so it's so exciting. And I want to thank you for inviting me here today. I want to thank Mike Hervey, the LIPA trustees, Brookhaven National Lab, the Department of Energy, Governor David Paterson, who, when I was at the head of LIPA, who really challenged us to build something like this, to make New York and Long Island be at the forefront of this. And so he gets a lot of credit as well. And something I didn't do a very good job at when I was at LIPA, and that was because staff always does the right thing. They always try to make the boss look good. I never really thanked staff enough. But when I look at it, I see what this project actually not only was planned, got procured, designed, and constructed, and now is running. I really got to tip my hat to Mike Deering, Dan Zaweski, Mark Doherty, Todd Stebbins, and the whole LIPA crew, because you really did make it happen. And I had my concerns, because when I left LIPA, the very first day, a policy that I had instituted where I had made everybody wear ties to work, Mike Hervey got rid of that the first day. I'm like, oh my God, I hope he doesn't ditch the solar farm next. And so, Mike, I was okay with you relaxing the dress code after I left, but I'm really commend you for not giving up on this project, seeing it through, because it really is exciting. And but I'm not here today wearing that old hat. I'm here now as the head of the Long Island Association. And we really do need to view our energy challenges as economic development opportunities. Long Island and LIPA, we have been at the cutting edge. We're the leaders in solar. We are the king of solar for the entire East Coast. And we need to continue to be the leaders, because we shouldn't let the Solyndra debacle or the temporary lower cost of fossil fuels fool us into not wanting to keep investing in clean energy. We need to keep on investing in projects like this. And as Mike alluded to, I have the privilege of Governor Cuomo appointing me the chairman of the Economic Development Council along with Stu Rabinowitz at Hofstra. And we've just submitted our plan to the governor. We'll be actually presenting it officially to this new panel a week from Monday. But we highlighted the importance of a clean energy economy for Long Island and the importance of building upon the strengths of our assets at Brookhaven National Lab and Stony Brook University and our other research institutions. We need to continue to be investing in our future. We believe we have the assets that are already here to really create new jobs in certain areas, and clean energy is one of them. And so it's really exciting to be here. Thank you, Mike and LIPA and all the partners, because at the end of the day, my good friend Ken LaValle mentioned this, the way we're going to meet our challenges here on Long Island is through collaborations and through partnerships. We need all levels of government working together like we had here. We need the business community working with the government. We need environmentalists working with developers. We need Republicans working with Democrats. It's going to be about partnerships. It's going to be about collaborations. And when we do work together, we're going to see more successful projects like this get off the ground. So it was exciting to be a part of it, and I salute you for carrying it forward. And thank you for having me here today.
We need two branches of government to help us in the state level, and a tremendous partner for Senator Laval and his colleagues, Assemblyman Theo and others, is Dan LaSquadro. Dan has been integrally involved in this project, helping to work through with the communities, with the environmental community, with our local government to incorporate their concerns, their issues, and again, help bring this project to fruition. So, Dan, please come up.
Thank you. And in a great irony, and I promise you it's a true story, coming up Wading River Manor Road, Creedence Clearwater, Who'll Stop the Rain came on. And I just put a smile on my face because we're here celebrating something so amazing, a milestone in Long Island history, truly a seminal moment for us. This is one of those opportunities for those public-private partnerships that we've heard everyone speaking about today. Much as we saw with electric cars. When they first came out, they weren't practical. Batteries were too heavy. They didn't last long enough. But we saw advancements, some of which took place right here at Brookhaven National Laboratory, advancements in locomotive and automotive battery technology that have really propelled us into the future, and you're going to see huge advancements coming forward in those areas. Bringing that talent, that research ability to bear on a facility such as this in an environment where we haven't seen these arrays built because maybe it wasn't considered the optimal environment, is going to provide us with a research and development opportunity that is going to allow every successive generation of power generation facility to be that much more efficient. And we're going to see that type of exponential increase in that efficiency that is going to allow this to become mainstream, to become the norm, the standard that we see moving forward for all areas of the country, not just the desert Southwest. So I want to commend LIPA, I want to commend Brookhaven National Laboratory, BP Solar, everyone who had a hand in bringing this to fruition and making this a reality. I thank all of you because this really is truly a defining moment for us. Thank you, and enjoy the lack of emissions that we have behind us, and enjoy a beautiful, bright, sunny day, because that's what this is all about. Thank you.
The town of Brookhaven has also been very much involved in economic development through Supervisor Lesko's proposals to increase the amount of economic development here. To speak on his behalf today is Brian Biedenbender, who I believe is the Deputy Chief of Staff. He's the Chief of Staff for Supervisor Lesko.
Thank you very much. Supervisor Lesko apologizes that he couldn't be here, but he asked me to speak on his behalf at this wonderful former Steve Levy employee reunion / LIPA solar array commissioning. So there's a lot of us here, and it's always nice to see everybody. Supervisor Lesko has been spending a lot of time talking with Kevin Law about Accelerate Long Island, and everybody's probably heard this over and over, but the very idea of Accelerate Long Island is to take the lab and to take the smart people, and I was really struck by Mr. Gibbs up here talking about the science with this big ear-to-ear grin, talking about how cool this is, and that's the point. There are people like you that have great ideas and make things like this happen. So we want to encourage that, and then we want you guys to make companies where you can hire the rest of us, so we can have a nice economy here on Long Island. So the Accelerate Long Island is a very important initiative. Brookhaven is incredibly proud not only to have the lab, but to be the site of this photo array. And also, I think it's important to mention that part of this project provided the town of Brookhaven with some resources to protect some very important land. And I think Mike and I have been working very hard to clear this up. But I believe on Tuesday, the town board will be able to vote and close on the first piece of land, a 7-acre property right on the Carmens River to protect that river going forward. And that also happened as a result of this project. So we shouldn't forget about the benefits of that as well. So once again, on behalf of Supervisor Lesko, congratulations to everybody involved, and thank you very much.
It takes visionaries. It takes people who are ahead of the curve to get us to a point today. People who speak about these projects before anyone else does. And Gordian Rocky, the executive director of Renewable Energy Long Island, I think lives, sleeps, breathes renewable energy. And when I was thinking about it this morning, you kind of give a new meaning to, son, why don't you come to work with me today? So with that, Gordian, come on in.
Thank you, Mike. Well, let me just say this. This is huge, and I don't say that a lot. This is huge. It really is a major milestone in Long Island's energy history. For the first time, Long Island will have a utility-scale power plant run by the sun. And just imagine, we're generating 32 megawatts of clean electricity. That means no emissions, no greenhouse gas emissions, no sulfur dioxide, no NOx emissions, just pure clean energy provided by Mother Nature. And also think of the fact that instead of sending our hard-earned money to fuel-producing regions of the country or the world to pay for that fuel, we're keeping that money here in the local economy. We're employing local men and women, local labor to make this happen. We're keeping that money going around in the local economy. That's a great economic benefit in addition to the environmental benefits. That's why this is the way of the future. And I want to just say that I really must commend LIPA for its vision and leadership in making this happen. LIPA, a lot of people talk about making the switch to renewable energy, but LIPA makes that switch. LIPA has already helped more than 4,800 homes and businesses on the island to put clean power generators on their roofs. And now with this 32 megawatts, we're taking another major, major step forward to realize the vision of clean energy here on Long Island and really becoming a leader for this. So thank you very much. Thank you all the partners who've made this happen. Couldn't have happened without all of those people working together, and I applaud you for that. Thank you.
Our final speaker today is one of the foremost environmental leaders here on Long Island today. Very accomplished, competent, successful, and an environmental leader who's been a true partner throughout this project, right from the very beginning, has been a supporter in both her roles, both as executive director of Citizens Campaign for the Environment and a member of the Brookhaven National Laboratory Citizens Advisory Committee, Adrienne Esposito.
I got to tell you, I was here 2 months ago. BP asked me to come down, and we were doing a video. And when I didn't think much of it, and I got here, and I pulled in, and I literally stopped breathing for 3 seconds. And I thought, oh, my God, this is more awesome than I even dreamed. And I literally became a little overwhelmed. Now, I know you could think that that's really hokey, but I have to tell you, in all honesty, this is what environmentalists dream about. And that might seem funny to you and it might seem humorous, but nevertheless, it's true. And I say that to you because this is a perfect example of the dream becoming the reality, of a hope becoming the truth, and the technology of the future becoming the energy for the present. This is it. You are here on a landmark day. You know, Governor Cuomo asked for transformational projects. Here it is. Here we are. This is a transformational project, not just for Long Island, but for our nation. One that takes us a step closer away from dirty, dangerous fossil fuels to a future for clean, safe, renewable energies. That's what we want. That's what we deserve. And that's what we need. I also have to do what others did, and I have to thank those that had the vision. And what that means is that there are people who not only can see things the way they are today, but can see things the way they could be and they should be in the future, and then manifest that to become a reality. And that takes dedication, and that takes work, and that takes even being laughed at sometimes and being scorned and told you're doing it the wrong way. This is the right way. This is what we need. There is no greater transformation our nation needs than to change the way we produce energy. This is what will save the planet. This is what will give us a better society and a brighter future. So to everybody who's involved and was involved, this is a great day, a transformational day, one that future generations will thank you for and will say this was the beginning. This was the beginning of a new society, of a new way to produce energy. I really feel this is historical and a landmark project, and I'm very, very proud for the assistance that we could give and we could provide. You know, Gordy and I were environmentalists when being an environmentalist wasn't cool, okay? It was actually, 25 years ago, a little bit difficult and challenging. And it's so good today to see the environmental movement embraced in many facets of the work. And we can only hope it keeps doing so, and we only can hope all of us are working together. Thank you.
164,000 panels constructed by Long Islanders, developed by Long Islanders, and operational on time. Congratulations. I do just want to add one more time, I want to thank the staff, the unions. I know there's a number of others that are here. Monique Brechter is here. Tamika Mendoza from our legal staff. Ed Petroselli, I saw walking around. But all of the staffs, again, who have been involved in this to make this happen. This federal, state, regional, and local partnership, again, working with the leaders from the science, business, environmental, and civic arenas, all of who you've heard from, have proved, once again, that Long Island can lead the nation. Today's a clear and shining example of that. With that, I'd like to invite you all outside. We're going to do a ribbon cutting and actually get this thing operational and moving forward. Thank you for coming.